Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. We are Team 6, and we've called our project Lyrically. So our mission is really simple. We aim to organize the world's music lyrics in order to help you action insights and determine trends. We started out this project by trying to use lyrics to try to understand the trajectory of certain artists' vocabularies and vernaculars over time, but soon we realized that we can use lyrics to understand a whole lot more. So the use cases are plentiful here, as we'll showcase later. But first, we're going to take a look at a case study.
Well, we decided to go with the evolution and look at Kanye West's last 5 projects. And we decided to look at each of his last 5 albums, break it down song by song, lyric by lyric. And here's what we did. We did a comparative analysis and we found some interesting things. And a quick fact about this is when we looked at the word God, we found that it was maximum used in Donda instead of we expected it to be used in an album like Jesus is King. Taking it a step further, we decided to analyze it with another artist like Drake. And we just decided to look at both of their albums, their last 5 albums, side by side. And here's what we found. We found, again, breaking it down lyric by lyric and looking at the particular words. For instance, we looked at the word love and found that the word love was maximum used in Drake's album like Certified Lover Boy. Expected, but interestingly, it was also used in Kanye's album, Donda. Such trends we could find using our tool. Zooming into this a little bit more further and looking at Kanye and Drake's albums lyrics side by side, we could look at the commonalities between the two. And for instance, we found that Drake and Kanye used words like no and got quite a bit. And we further decided to break it down album by album and look at it side by side. And this is these were the trends that we ended up finding.
So how did we build it? If you're curious about the specifics, feel free to scan the QR code in the bottom corner now and see how we've essentially built our Python script and organized the over 40,000 data points that we collected over this weekend. We essentially got the data via Genius and built a script to process the lyrics and perform text mining to create tokens for each word before cleaning the data and visualizing it. We want to emphasize, though we only analyzed Kanye and Drake, this tech can be used to analyze any set of lyrics that you choose, whether that be your own catalog or something as broad as hip hop in the early 2000s.
So we also wanted to provide you guys with some business use cases for which Lyrically could be implemented. Though the usability here is certainly not limited to these 4 realms within the music industry. So the first instance is within marketing and audio branding. You are able to find songs that are lyrically relevant to your brand partnership for commercial use. We know that it can be sometimes difficult to determine what is the best soundbite of a track to upload onto platforms such as TikTok. So for example, a brand like Fashion Nova might want to use songs like Saucy Santana's Material Girl in their paid influencer content. Secondly, our tool would be relevant for music publishers to help index themes and topics to enable the searchability of your catalog before the recordings are actually made. Here, you could look at songs that contain the topic of dance or dancing, or keywords including move your body. Playlist curators and DSPs could then also search for songs via keywords that fit the theme of a playlist, such as romance for Valentine's Day themed playlists. And lastly, sync licensing could also benefit from easily finding lyrics that fit the scene of your episode or your film, such as money-related keywords for the scene of a heist.
So what's next? Well, obviously we've got some real limitations here due to the length of the project, but here are some of the ones that we really hit a blocker on. So first of all, we only process data in the English dictionary. So especially with burgeoning music markets, with, for example, the LATAM music markets and with reggaeton, there's a lot of really like relevant songs and obviously just a lot of use cases to analyze songs that aren't in English. As an adjacent issue, this product is currently reliant on existing dictionaries, making it harder to detect things like slang, abbreviated words, etc., and things like regionalities, for example. Lastly, given that we weren't able to tackle natural language processing over the weekend, we have a limited understanding of the context in which the words were used here.
So what do we have planned for the future? Well, definitely want to integrate this with natural language processing so we can handle context. want to integrate this with chart metrics so we can start looking at trends per geography. We would like to look at emotions by integrating this tool with Museo. And finally, look at audience segmentation by integrating it with audience to look at artists, Twitter, social media, and get some more insights on that. So how would you use lyrics to find an opportunity? Well, it's time for you to think because Lyrically is here. Thank you so much for listening to us. We're Team 6 once again.
Thank you guys so much. That was impressive, amazing. So our judges, you guys have 3 minutes to ask some questions. You can raise your hand or just unmute yourself.
I'll ask a quick question. I'm just curious, have you set it up so that you can search for phrases? In other words, contextualizing what a word means. Love obviously could go in different directions. Are you, the way it is right now, can you search for a phrase that helps kind of contextualize a word?
So far, yeah, Aaron, go ahead.
Yeah, maybe I can answer that. So the way we worked is we first tokenize the text, so we look at every word individually, and we only made a statistical approach. So right now we only count the occurrence. That's the fact that Chen referred earlier to. If we would use a thing like natural language processing, then we could see, okay, in which context was this word used? So what are the other words next to it? So for the data that we analyze right now, it would be a purely statistical approach, but in theory, yes, you could also do a context analysis.